prepared yet.
You need to try and pick off the units as... Look at the shields on the mark.
Oh my god, the drone's gonna take him!
Welcome back. It's time for a little bit of Game 3 action between Strelok and Mousesports ThorZaIN here at the IPL. Right now, ThorZaIN up 2-0. Poor Strelok at 0-2. Not an accurate representation of his skill, as again has been tearing it up in the online scene. However, ThorZaIN, the master of preparation, we got the chance to see some of that in the last game with that brilliant timing of the 7 Marine push at the start of the game while still managing to get a secured early expand up. Strelok almost did the key damage he needed to with his Banshee counter harass, but it just wasn't enough as he miscontrolled just once, lost the Banshee, and the momentum was all in ThorZaIN's favor. I'm your guest commentator, Day 9. Let's talk about GSL Crevasse, which is the map at hand. It's not just a word I made up and wanted to talk about. This is a map that I would call the biggest metagaming map in most map pools. As we can see, there is this backdoor expansion that is very easy to defend. It has 1 geyser and these 6 mineral patches. At the front of your base, you have 1 choke that defends both your main and this backdoor base. Now, what this generally means is that a lot of players will just straight up expand to this backdoor without ever even considering making a barracks first. They will straight build it at the back just due to the extremely long distances between the base. I just did the drag distance between the 2 scout-wise. We can already see that it's quite the leap between the 2 locations. So this means a lot of players will favor this early expand, and as a result you can metagame the map and either say, well, I'm just going to early expand too, or you can say, I'm going to go crazy aggressive too. And it looks like ThorZaIN doing not quite the fastest early expand he could, but it looks like an early expand at the very least is planned for him. But Strelok looks like he's going to be the one going for all-out aggression right at the start of the game. He went gas first and then went for a barracks, which means he's able to get this factory extremely quickly. Look at this. The factory started for Strelok before ThorZaIN's orbital command was even finished. And now ThorZaIN going for the early expand. Strelok accessing that metagame knowledge, knowing that the trends point to traditional fast expo play on this map. He's going to try to exploit that as best as he can with this ultra-fast factory. And what is he going to do? We see a tech lab going down. Strelok might be going once again for this Blue Flame Hellion business. Always a little bit risky, but if you can do the damage that you need to, perhaps using some of that metagame knowledge of how players play that map, you can get the exact advantage you need to step back in. And boy, does Strelok need it. He's down 0-2 to ThorZaIN. 0-2 in any situation is always a bad spot to be. The only thing Strelok can be thankful for is that this is not a best of 3. ThorZaIN now going for the 3 barracks transition after taking his early expand. 1 refinery going down. That'll let him get a little bit better tech up. And there's the starport going down. Very fast cloaked Banshee. Again, Strelok just favoring this crazy aggression popping up. But interestingly, we can see no early second geyser. Almost always you get an early second geyser when you do this sort of play, but you know what? Strelok is going for the ultra-fast 1-base Banshee, and this is a very fun way to do some pressure at the start of the game while still having enough minerals to take a relatively early expand of your own. And here it is going down. Bam! Wow! Strelok doing an early expand of his own. ThorZaIN's Expo just now finishing up, and we can see that add-on is down for the Tech Lab. Not enough money to begin the Combat Shield or the Stim for ThorZaIN. So we're going to see ThorZaIN continue the Marine production, still on just 1 geyser. Now transferring some SCVs there. Let's see what sort of damage Strelok can pull off with this starport. And ooh, I like this play. Instead of going for the faster tank, oh, the money scan. Instead of going for the faster tank, we're going to see Strelok go for the slightly faster reactor. And now we see the tanks are going to be coming up in just a bit. But as we can see, favoring the Viking popping out first. And there now is the Banshee popping into the back door, doing a little bit of damage. Marine's going to try to run up into the fray. And what will ThorZaIN do in response to this? Will ThorZaIN begin to try to build a bunch of missile turrets? That would be an incorrect investment, as we can see that this gas geyser from Strelok is only just finished. No cloak is going down for that little Banshee. And it looks like Strelok doing some very nice control. Oh, supply depot at the back. Total vulnerability right now for ThorZaIN. Strelok getting a chance to do a lot of damage. In the units lost tab, we see a great lead here for Strelok. And again, Computer 5 showing some real flair. Still making his way into the game with his 6 SCVs. Now to note, this unit's lost tab can be potentially deceiving, because it looks like ThorZaIN may have lost just a little teensy bit more. But upon losing that Banshee, Strelok is actually behind. Losing an early Banshee like that is absolutely devastating, because again, Banshees disrupt all of the typical build styles so much that they have to do a lot of damage just to justify their existence in this little world. So ThorZaIN now does have the fast combat shield upgrade up that will allow him to deal better with future Banshee harass, but Strelok has transitioned faster to the marine tank money business. And there's the third command center going down now for Strelok, so this means he will be going for a relatively fast third base and continuing to make marines and tanks. Their stim is about even, but it is the siege mode that I think Strelok is worried about. And apparently the base arrangement went to an interior decorating school, realized that this is just not a way to have a starport next to a factory, had to have those lined up. ThorZaIN, so expand heavy in all these games. We've seen him actually, no matter what, just take another base. Am I ahead? Am I behind? Let me get another command center and then answer that question. ThorZaIN now going for, it looks like the Marine King Prime style, all Marines with upgrades and medevacs. Not actually going to have this factory doing much at all, except making himself a Hellion for a little bit of map control and map presence. Engineering Bay only just now starting that +1 attack upgrade. Strelok trying to maintain a little bit of a defensive stance at this point in time. There's again another money scan by ThorZaIN, seeing everything that's here, sees the exact mix of structures, but most importantly this third command center. That's going to be a big indicator that ThorZaIN can comfortably begin moving out to the center of the map, and there he is now beginning to head his way forward. And it looks like ThorZaIN's actually going to be going for drops. Wow, with the map presence he's gaining from the hold of these essential Xel'Naga watchtowers. ThorZaIN now going to have a good sense of when attacks are going to be coming, so he can easily be on the total offensive with these medevacs, have hardly any units back home to defend, and will have the reassuring knowledge that there's nothing out to get him. No boogeyman in the closet, no cannons hiding under his bed. Strelok now just correctly moving this Viking out to the backside. Feeling comfortable with his Marine tank mix, but the problem with Marine tank mix always are that you need to stay so tightly clumped with those tanks. The Marines isolated are weak, the tanks isolated are weak. It looks like, oh, Strelok's attempt to keep these Vikings at the back to block just were not enough. There's a stem picking off a ton of SCVs, and oh no, it looks like a big misstep by ThorZaIN. He's going to end up losing both of those medevacs. He did do a ton of damage, but that's a good bit of momentum lost by the player, ThorZaIN, by our Swede friend, to have lost that many units, and the medevac just now being able to escape with 2. In the unit station, we see 31 SCVs. In the resource station, a 40 food lead for the red Terran player. ThorZaIN in a dominating position. ThorZaIN we've seen play different styles all games and has just pretty much come out way ahead every time. That is that preparation shining through. Now getting the 2-1 upgrade, Strelok taking his own third base. But will Strelok's tank count be a little too high? We're seeing 4 tanks out right now for the blue Terran. ThorZaIN trying to work his way forward. But with that big loss of Marines, this is the momentum loss that I was worried about. Strelok is actually not far behind at all in the Marine count. It's 22 to 19. But the important thing is that that 4 tank lead for the blue Terran is going to be huge in a lot of these early confrontations. ThorZaIN doing everything he can to delay, but this doesn't feel like a fun, cutesy harassment to me. This feels like the, oh my gosh, I have to start putting pressure on my opponent, because he's starting to get a lot of tanks built up, and ThorZaIN going for a big drop. Oh no, this is a big blunder by ThorZaIN. He's going to lose almost everything, and he's going to lose both medevacs. The Viking positioning from ThorZaIN, the standard play, is just doing wonders, and will ThorZaIN lose yet another medevac? It looks like the answer is going to be yes. ThorZaIN suddenly in a ton of trouble. The 40 food lead evaporated in the unit station. More tanks, more Marines, more Vikings, everything now pointing for Strelok to be able to do a big push right away. And what does ThorZaIN say? Oh my gosh, I'm behind. Expand. Again, I don't even think this is that bad of a play. This is something that RTS players always need to do more of. And it looks like Strelok not even going to go for the siege, just straight pushing, spreading his units out, annihilating this paltry defense from ThorZaIN, the 3 medevacs. Will he lose those 2? And he is going to lose 1. If he loses all of them, that is going to be huge. Oh no, and he is going to lose it. Oh no! ThorZaIN in an atrocious position, taking it out on the destructible rocks, but they didn't do that. Poor ThorZaIN did that to himself, and there the siege mode constricting any exit out the front of the base. ThorZaIN is almost guaranteed to lose this expansion unless he does a miracle defense with these SCVs. More blue units trickling forward. The scan from ThorZaIN gets a chance to see all those units advancing forward, and here comes the SCVs. Strelok has a great positioning on the tanks, and oh no, dragging the Marines to the left, having the tanks rip apart all the SCVs. Amazing control in this battle by Strelok, and the 5 siege tanks at the back line do stay up. They do hold. 1 tank on the high ground by ThorZaIN. It will likely not be enough. A 2nd tank trying to siege up. Strelok does lose 1 of his tanks, but still has 4 remaining. More Marines trickling forward. 10 produced at a time for Strelok in the unit station. It is all signs good for the Blue Terran Imba Strelok. ThorZaIN now lifting up these Marines into the medevacs, trying to do a little drop in action. Will ThorZaIN be able to do the damage he needs? He looks like he is dropping on top of the tanks. He might be able to take out 1 of them, but 2 is going to be the maximum number of tanks that he takes out. More Marines streaming forward from Strelok, the expansion in shambles. We see still an SCV lead from ThorZaIN with all the damage that was dealt early on. Strelok with the Manor SCV building the depot in the back of the base. Yep, just want to make sure I don't get supply blocks. Strelok having a little bit of fun as he is in a clear position to take the win down, but it looks like ThorZaIN is not ready to give up quite yet in the main. Look at the amount of barracks, 8 barracks churning things out. We see 2 factories down now for Strelok. More attempts to do SCV busting, and there's the good game. Well played by ThorZaIN. Strelok showing that life support has not been turned off yet, bringing it to 1-2. Can he pull the reverse comeback and take down ThorZaIN with some more wins, or will ThorZaIN be able to close it out? Let's head into Game 4 to check out what's going to go down.